So for section 2, we are going to simplify product and quotients involving square roots of negative numbers. So our first example, we have the square root of negative 2 times the square root of negative 8. So a lot of students, they're really always tempted to just use the multiplication property and just say negative 2 times negative 8. This is a big no-no. Why? Because if we look back at the multiplication property, it says that the nth root of A and the nth root of B both have to be real. In order for that to happen for even roots, so this because this is a square root, we cannot have a negative under here, because if it's negative, the square root of like negative 13, this is not a real number, right? And then as we've established in the previous video, this would become an imaginary number, right? So what do we do, right, if we can't do that? We are going to apply the definition of negative b for b greater than 0. So negative 2, when we rewrite that, and so keep in mind I'm using an equal sign because there's no equal signs here, so I'm just simplifying it. So for negative 2, this becomes I square root of 2, right? And then for the square root of 8, this becomes I square root of 8. Right. So now let's bring the terms. So I have I squared and then square root of 2, square root of 8. Now we can apply the multiplication property because it satisfies the conditions. Okay, so if I took the square root of 2 and the square root of 8, we would get positive. We would get a real number. So for I squared, keep in mind of the definition. So it follows I squared is equal to negative 1. So I squared is negative 1. This is times. And then for this, I'm going to do the multiplication property. But on top of that, what I'm actually going to do is, I guess I could put side work over here. So for 2 times 8, 8 can be rewritten as 2 cubed. Okay. And so this will be 2 to the 4th. Right. So this becomes 2 to the 4th. So we know that this can be simplified even more because the power is greater than our index. So what is this? This is, so the square root of 2 to the 4th, that is 2 squared. Right? Because the square root can be to the 1/2 power. 4 times 1/2 is 2. So then our final answer is negative 4. Looking at example 2, now we are dealing with quotients. So just like the multiplication property, the quotient property also states like we can't combine them because the square root of 15 is not a real number, so that doesn't apply yet. So what do? We're going to use our definition. So the square root of negative 15, that is I square root of 15. Right? So now, because the square root of 15 and square root of 5, since they both would give me a real number and they both have the same index, I can now combine them. So I have I and then the square root of 15 divided by 5. We can simplify 15 divided by 5, that is 3. Right? So now looking at this, so for 3, 3 has a power of 1. 1 is less than our index 2, so we know that this is as simplified as possible. So therefore, oh my goodness, sorry guys. Therefore, oh my goodness. One more try. Okay. Therefore, I times the square root of 3i is our solution. So normally, one note I like to make when it comes to I, or even when it comes to the square root, I usually, you guys have may notice, I usually put the numbers in front of it. It's because this, some people, you can still do this, but it's really tricky because it might look like the square root is supposed to go under the I, but it's not. Right? So to be safe, we just put I in the front.